Welcome to Expedient Means with Lin A. Wei on Time on Radio. Lin currently resides in China and is the founder and head teacher of Guizhen Philocultural Society. He has extensive experience in Buddhist and Taoist meditation, Qigong, martial arts, and traditional Chinese medicine. To learn more about Lin, please visit his website at www.guizhenhui.net. Tonight we'll be speaking about the Hell Realms. Welcome, Lin. Let's talk a little bit about the Hell Realms tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And when you proposed this topic, it brought to mind a quote from a certain movie that's probably the greatest masterpiece ever created. And if anybody disagrees with that, then they're absolutely wrong. And that would be Big Trouble in Little China. And there's a scene in that movie where Eddie says to one of the guys at the Black Dragon Pool restaurant that Lo Pan would have joined Lam Lee in the hell of being cut to pieces, and Jack's like, what? He's like, the hell of being cut to pieces. And then he says, the Chinese have a lot of hells, Jack. So on that note, thought maybe that'd be a good lead into our discussion.
I think that's great. The movie was hilarious and great. It was probably one of the most direct about all those superpower kind of things and how you can become demonic kind of things. And of course, it didn't get, as much play like we were talking earlier. But anywho, the Hell Realms, yeah, that's a pretty big topic. And, outside of the religious facet or the religious mannerism of what hells are, what people assume hells are, we're going to jump out of that. We're going to get away from that. So just for this whole topic, I hope our listeners, everyone out there, imagine that when I say the word hell, none of the there is no association to any religion whatsoever out there on our planet. So let's just create a foundation of our understanding, because almost every single religion has some type of realm that one goes to suffer for the wrongdoings they have. Almost all of them, not every single 100%, every single one does, but in this case, we can touch on the idea in the Buddhist focus on hell realms, the Taoist focus on hell realms. We will go into all those other educational teachings, or what everyone calls religion, but what I'll call educational teachings, because when you strip the supposed this is what you must do kind of thing out of it, which is pushed by people, then you don't have religion anymore. You have an educational system that teaches people how to adjust their mind and raise their raise their vibrational level to get to higher states of happy, cheesy fluffiness.
It's funny because some religions, they say that when you go to the Hell Realms, you're there forever. And, like, for instance, in Christianity, you're going to burn in fire for all eternity, which always struck me as kind of wrong because, if people made a couple mistakes, it seems kind of silly that they'd have to spend eternity, being tormented. Whereas in Buddhism, it seems that the Hell Realms are more of a place of transformation.
Pretty much. We consider in the Buddhist educational system, we consider the Hell Realms that they're realms for transformation, yet at the same time, because we don't just live one life and then poof, that's it. There's things that aren't going. So it's the accumulation over countless lifetimes that build up over countless lifetimes and then just end up creating a realm that we get quote-unquote reborn into. Then there's realms within that, in that idea, there's hell realm that is never ending. It's like you're in there forever. That's the energetic vibration is that translates as you're in there for a hell of a long time, which seems like forever. And because there's no concept of time whatsoever in these places, it's as though you're in there forever. You're never getting out. And there's certain things that you've done that bring you into this specific state.
So when they say forever in the Buddhist terminology, is that more just like a metaphor for a really long time?
Because humans utilize, well, on our human realm, we utilize the time structure, the constraints of that kind of limitation of the mind. So we'll use the language that speaks of there's no time you can count that states you will be here for so long. There's no countable time in there. It's just going to be as though you are there forever, and you'll never break out of it. So it could be 10,000 years our time. It could be 40,000 years. It could be 5 million or billion years that you're in there in a human's time. But it happens swiftly because in those realms, because there's no time constraint. It's just something that is.
So how do people end up in these hell realms? Is it basically they create the conditions in their in this lifetime or other lifetimes, or?
Well, it's not. It's said so black and white in. I'm not going to speak on every other religion out there. I'm not going to speak from the Buddhist aspect either, because we said in the beginning, let's put the foundation as though there's no such thing as religious aspects. Let's just talk about it as is. So, in the mannerism of the hell realms, it's not that you just step on an ant and then you go to hell. It's not that I chop off someone's head and I'll go to hell. It's the mind state, the attachments we have at that moment when we're doing something that creates the result of a specific way we're going to quote unquote exist in. Okay, so let's think of the hells first on a basic level as a state of mind you live with every day, and then let's think of the heavens as a state of mind we live with every day. Okay, just the same thing with a flip of the hand or a flip of the word. Okay, a change of a word. So it's an accumulation or the intensity of one's vibration when they're doing something that resonates with, how do I say it? The manifested. It's like trying to rip out a frequency and just trying to put words on it. This is what happens at the time when I'm trying to speak. So I barely prepare for these shows. It's better that I don't prepare, or everything will just.
I spend weeks studying. I should tell everybody. We do these interviews, hours and hours, piles.
Once we think of a topic, I sit there and go, "Okay, let's go." Anyway, it's as though we are. When we think or do something, that energy, that vibration resonates with whatever vibration out there that is already that. I mean, a vibration cannot be the one and single only unique vibration in the universe, because the universe is gigantic and there's so many of them. So the complexities of vibration are endless. So you're not thinking of anything new. You're not vibrating any new type of energy. It's always been there. So we're just kind of reaching the frequency. So once that happens, think of it as it linking up with our mind. And once it links up with the vibration we have with our mind, it kind of pulls us like a black hole and pulling you into that state of mind. So it's kind of like creating this wormhole between you and that vibration that you're resonating. The vibration you're resonating connects with another vibration out there, and it connects to you, creating like this. Think of a wormhole, or just like a connection to your body, using metaphors. And then it feeds that energy because that's what's in your mind. So you're vibrating at a very high level of whatever vibration it is for you. And that creates the realm that you'll experience. Not after you die. Right in this lifetime.
That kind of led into one of the questions I was actually going to ask, and that is, some people have the viewpoint that, the world we're living in now could be construed as a hell realm. I personally don't agree with that, but I was wondering what you thought about it.
The world as it is neither hell or heaven. Okay, so the hell realm, what these people are speaking of, is really what's in their own mind. They're only seeing what the capacity in their mind allows them to see. Basically, the conditions in their mind are creating the vibratory level that allows them to only understand and see suffering. That's how people can create a viewpoint. That's literally the workings of a viewpoint. You have a thought. That thought has a vibration. Emotion, energy in motion has a vibration. So it's going to vibrate the level of that thought, and it's going to influence your whole entire energetic makeup. And you're only going to be able to receive or attract and put out those kind of vibrations. then you start to create theories. Oh, not you, but in general, one starts to create theories about how life is, how the world is. And we go by those theories, and we kind of stamp it, certify it that this is the way life is for us. But we don't say for us. We just say this is life, and that's what it is. But actually, no, this is not a hell realm at all. But we make one. We make it a hell realm. Just think of everybody out there. Think of those walking in the street. They don't have a smile on their face. They look like they're walking hunched over. They look very melancholy. That's just a doorway into their own hell realms of their mind. I mean, people are walking in the hells right now when they walk in the streets. Let's not equate it to sadness, fear, hatred, and all those, what most people have considered to be low-level vibrations. Actually, they're not low-level vibrations. They're high-level vibrations. And there's no higher level, what's the word? There's no, man, I have this in Chinese, but I don't have it in English.
Say in Chinese.
Yeah, but then I'm not going to get it in English. So I'll just think I got it already in English. Basically, it's not like don't think of these vibrations in the universe as a discriminating vibration, meaning this one's low level, this one's high level, this one's medium level, this one's more higher, happy vibration, this is a more lower because it's a negative vibration. No, there's no such thing as that. It's just vibration. Okay? It's just energy doing its thing. Because we have discriminating mind, discriminating thinking, we make it good or bad. But it doesn't mean if I'm thinking does not mean someone's killing somebody and start going, I'm having a beautiful day, and just starts hacking away at them while they're screaming in pain, that's not relatively going to give them a negative outcome. It's going to give them a negative outcome, regardless if they're sitting there going, happy, happy, joy, joy, when they're hacking someone away or not. Because it induces the mannerism, the vibration of fear and hatred, remorse, and anger in the person they're doing it to. There has to be a giver to be a receiver. And when there's a receiver, there's a giver. So these things are mutual. So there's things that just cancel out. Our discriminating mind says, well, if I'm feeling good about something and I try to do a good deed and then bad things happen, well, my intentions were good, so I'm not going to have any negative repercussions. False. Very false. You can your intentions may be good, but only bad outcomes happen. That's one of the sayings in Chinese. You wanted to do a good thing, but you ended up, having bad results. Okay? And that just equates to, it's not just your intentions that are enough. You have to know what's going to happen. You really have to know. I mean, it takes us to have to take more responsibility and really tap into that wisdom inside to really tell the difference. Discriminating wisdom tells the difference between the relative vibration of right and wrong. And I call it relative vibration because it vibrates on our relative realm, and we interpret it as such. So that's how it's going to be a quote-unquote real reality for us.
So if somebody gets stuck in the hell realms, couldn't they just change their views and make it into a heaven realm?
Oh, yeah, they can. I mean, there were stories that, and don't quote me word for word on this, I'm just saying based on my memory's terrible. There was a story where it said, I think it was a king or whatnot ended up in the hell realms, but he felt so peaceful and comfortable there that it was as though it was a heaven for him. So when it was time for him to go to the heavens, when his time was up in the hell realms, or the period of his suffering was over, he was like, where are you going? Where are you taking me? Where am I going? He's like, you're going to the heavens. Wasn't I there already? His mind was so at peace with that. Doesn't mean it's a good peace or a bad peace. Don't look at it as good and bad peace, acceptance of a peaceful state. It's just that it was just the way it was for him. And it didn't make a difference. So it's not as easy, though. Think of it's really difficult to say, think of if you're in the hell realms. What is it like? Because we already have misconceptions of what the hell realms are like by, Bible and certain other texts out there telling us the hells are terrible and blase, whatever. So, just imagine for a moment, you're walking in the street and you step on a nail. When you step on a nail, Your first thought isn't, oh, those are beautiful flowers. Oh, look, I have something in my foot. Let me take it out. All happy and full of joy. No, you're like screaming and cursing your head off. What the F? What the hell? And you're jumping up, grabbing your foot, falling on the floor, screaming that you fell on the floor, and then you stepped on something and blood everywhere, and you're getting angry, and you're like, who am I going to sue? Then you're worried if you can get infection. That's not a stable, not saying it's not a stable mind. All I'm saying is that was extremely moved mind. You stepped on something, your initial response was rage. You're not thinking of how to keep yourself in peace at that point, or keep yourself in a mannerism where you're not being thrown left and right in emotion. Now, just bring that on a higher level. That's just a small pin or a nail on the floor you stepped in. What if your foot got chopped off? You're not going, oh, look at the sky and look at all those beautiful clouds. Oh, my foot. Oh, well. It's like, okay. Ooh, look, a bunny rabbit in the clouds. You're not doing that. So if the initial response was rage or, shock at having stepped on a nail, move it to a bigger portion and you got your foot chopped off. And then you move it up, you got half your leg chopped off. I mean, you go further and further and the pain becomes more and more excruciating.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to keep your wits about you and when you're in excruciating pain. So yeah.
Right. So we'll equate it to that. Being in the hell realms is as though not all of the negative things you've done all come at you at once. No, it's not that at all. It's that the amount of vibration you had put out, okay, is now emphasized because your discriminating thinking is not at work here. Only the discriminating thinking on the human level is not at work here. But the only discriminating thinking you have when you're in pain is, what the hell? Screaming, rage, fear. That is emphasized. And then it emphasizes your state even more. And then the state becomes stronger and then affects you. And then it emphasizes more because of what you put out further. So think of this going back and forth, kind of game. And each time it goes back and forth, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And it becomes more and more unbearable. I'm trying to scare anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to let you know. If we're going to go from the relative realm of the hell on earth kind of talk, just your emotions that bring you into a state of being moved, whether into the good or into the bad, okay, is what we'll consider a hell realm. Because it leaves you on this cycle of discriminating thinking, going back and forth, left and right, all the time. Throwing your emotions up and down throws your body physically out of balance. I mean, your body's always trying to fight to be in balance. So you're not 100% in balance. But you're always at a state where it's pretty close to it. So you're not feeling so much uncomfortableness. But think of when you get indigestion. That's not happy. When you're really suffering from some type of indigestion and someone's trying to say how much they love you and you're like, all right, shut up. I need something to control my stomach. Like, I love you too. Now shut up. You're not thinking of how beautiful the person is. You think about the pain in your stomach and the feeling and the taste of acid going into your mouth, and how much you don't have the patience to listen to anything because everything around you emphasizes the frustration you feel.
So that raises a question. Actually, it doesn't. It's just a question I've been thinking about while you've been talking.
But it sounds professional. It sounded
really cool the way I said it. No, the question that kind of was bubbling up in my mind is, are the hells created by our, and this is probably more dualistic thinking, but are the hells created by our own mind? That meaning that they don't really exist in and of themselves except unless we create them, or do some of the hells actually exist out there somewhere?
Oh, I love this question. Oh, man, this is so good. And I hope I don't forget the answer because it's right on the tip of my tongue. Okay, wonderful question. Because we humans are here, we create these mass states of consciousness. And those consciousness, after it reaches a certain state of vibration, create a realm. And then that realm also gives off its own vibration due to all the diverse vibrations that are pretty close to its resonating state. And then it attracts those who keep putting out that vibration. The intensity of the experience in those realms are dependent on the intensity of the vibration we sent out.
So it's almost like a collective delusion type thing?
Oh, joy, you hit it right on the head. Yes. Yes. And then it's not that, okay, because we have a mind, so we create the hells because of that. It's because we have a mind, well, for the sake of saying, because we have discriminated thinking, because we entertain these thoughts, attachments, whatnot, we can't put it down and create false views about everything. We get thrown into these states. It existed. It was there because we resonated with it, and that's the vibration we're experiencing things on. But then what about everybody else? I'll give you an example. Going to the hell of pulling out tongues, or like mowing your tongue off with a friggin' lawnmower or something. I'm just putting a quote. I'm just putting thoughts out there. For people who've said terrible things, talked really negatively, done things bad with mouth karma. Okay, but everybody does that, so it creates a collective realm. A realm of collective vibration, or vibration that is close to or resonating on point with that specific level, and it attracts for that specific state, for those specific people. So yeah, you create it yourself, but the more you empower it, the more it reaches the vibrational level of the realm in which is collective to everyone or those who have done what you're doing. And reach that vibrational level too.
That reminds me of a part in the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra where they discuss the iron hell, and they talk about there being this enormous bed and that one person's in it, but yet all the people in the hells are also in it. It was kind of nebulous, but I wonder if you could just maybe clarify what they mean by that.
The Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. It's one of my favorites. When you said it, I was like, that was so nice. I know, it's a little weird. But yeah, that sutra speaks directly on, briefly, by the way, on the hell realms in full detail, or as much detail as the Earth Store Bodhisattva would agree to explain. The bed of nails, the iron bed. Okay. What that means is, when you're on this, let's just say for the sake that there is a being on this bed of iron, this bed of nails, whatever, being staked on there, or punctured with iron stakes, or whatever the case is. They're not going to see every single person in that realm on that bed. But there will be others around, because the vibrational level of that being only puts himself in the center of his own universe. When you get, think of back to the analogy we gave, or the example we gave before about stepping on a nail. When you're stepping on a nail and that first initial sensation hits you when it's like punctures your skin and you go, ah! You're not sitting there looking at the person next to you going, nice hair, buddy. You know, you're not looking around being mindful about, ooh, look at that person, look at that person, look at this needle in my foot, let me get it out, you know? You're not aware of that. You're just aware of, holy crap! You know, where's my foot? You know, what happened? And everything goes to that one point. So think of that split-second reaction being constantly. You're not getting a moment to rest. So you're not seeing the full scope of the realm around you. You're only seeing you. There's only you, because there was because you're in that state because of the attachments to self. Not you. I'm saying in generally. Okay. The one is in that state is because of the attachment to the self, the ego, saying the I, the me, I am this, I am that, and attaching to this and creating a whole worldview based on the I, and then doing things according to that vibrational level of egotism, and as time goes on, it creates, does these specific actions, deeds, which accumulate over time and put them into that specific hell realm, or that specific realm of the suffering. Now, why does one have to go through that? I mean, who said it must be that way? The person who's thinking it says it. No one else. No one turns around and goes, okay, you're going because you did this at this time and this day and this year. And you did that because that, and it goes on. No one's overseeing you per se, going, okay, now it is your time to go to the hells, you have to go. No, it's not that someone makes you do that against any will. Just eradicate the whole idea of free will altogether. Let's not even go into that aspect. That could be a new show altogether. But It's as though you have beings out there who go, okay, look how much this person, I mean, is really like, accumulating. Um, they will eventually go into this state, and they'll go into this realm, and this will be their outcome. All right, we'll take them there. When it's ripe, when the vibration has reached its high point, that's when the person doesn't get dragged away per se, but it is as though they get dragged away. Now, there's beings that are there to pull you into the hells. Okay, this goes into another aspect of hell demons, ghosts, spirits of the hells, the hell dwellers, the king of hell, all this stuff. And we have a negative view about them. All in all, they're going, look, buddy, you can attain faster if you just get rid of this negative karma. So go through your shit. Excuse my language, but it's very straight up. Go through your stuff and then get on your way.
So instead of spending 5 million incarnations as a human, kind of slowly working the karma way, you'd incarnate into the hell realm for like a smaller period of time.
Yeah, and then so let's go back to this iron bed kind of situation. That's why it is said that only you are on that, but there are many others there too. The whole entire population is on there too. Whole entire population of that realm of the iron bed. Okay, then there's sub-realms in each realm. So this can go on and on. It's like, I feel angry now, but then a part of me still understands a little bit, and then another part of me still feels regret, another part of me feels a little forgiveness, another part of me still feels greedy, and a little wants to do some ignorant things, but I'm still angry. So you have the overall idea of the overall vibration of anger, but then you have all these other things influencing also. Little sub-energies, we'll call it, or sub-vibrations, we'll call it, just for the sake of saying. Okay? And the hell realms are like this. Doors within doors, rooms within rooms of complexity, of vibrational complexity. Okay? Once one mannerism of experience is finished, you just continue going on to the next one. And it's just like a revolving door, one over and over and over again until it's done.
So there's basically an infinite number of hells.
Yeah, only because...
Sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say only because people can have an infinite range of emotions or attachments, I guess.
Yes, because the complexity of vibration or emotion and thought is really endless. I mean, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't come from one specific place and go back to it. So it's kind of like it pops up and then it disappears, pops up, disappears on a continuous cycle. So it's endless. And how they interrelate with each other is endless too. You can make up innumerable amounts of combination of vibrational energies there, or experiences of emotion and thought. I mean, really, how many thoughts are we aware of when we're thinking?
Hopefully none.
I used to practice this method, which I give everyone a method out there, which will help you really to be mindful. It goes much further than just that, but let's keep it very simple. While you're thinking, the thought you're thinking, what is the thought before that thought? Try to utilize that method. What is the thought before the thought you're thinking? And then work it from there. See how that works. Anywho, so you mentioned the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. It's one of my favorites because it goes so in depth, and if one is only seeing it for the words, of course it's only a sutra, it's full of words. But if one only takes it at face value as like, oh my God, it's just the Buddha, his mother Maya, asking Earth Store Bodhisattva what's up with the hell realms, what's going on, how to save these people in the world of Jambudvipa, and the Earth Store Bodhisattva is just going on and on, ranting and raving about how terrible and scary and torturous it is in these realms of people's creative collective suffering. Hey, what the hell, It was just another fear-mongering tactic to make us be good people.
That thought kind of ran through my head as I was reading it.
Right? Exactly. This is it's common, what goes on in our minds when we see these things. I mean, when I was reading it, I was saying people will assume this is just straight up fear mongering, like make us fearful, must fear the bad, and don't even entertain it, and be these passive, happy-go-lucky daisy holders, going, oh, look, I have a daisy, I have sunflowers, here you go, make love not war kind of attitude. But no, because if we only took it at that face value, we'll only see it as a person telling us, this is what happens. Who the hell is this person to tell us this is what happens? I'm in control of my own life. That's the false thinking we'll have. I don't believe in this. I'm not going to these places. Okay, well, let's say it's not true. What is there a reason to be upset about? It's not affecting us. What if it is true? All right, well, I don't know, but hey, if it is, and I'll just checklist, correct myself here and there, keep myself a little cool. So on face level, it just looks very plain up. You do this, you get that. You just don't do this. Like a father telling his child, "What are you doing? Don't do that." A little slap in the head. But if one were to take it at a contemplative investigation, which is reading without utilizing discriminating thinking from your own views, not reading it with your own ideas about what you assume things are, just taking it from there and immersing yourself into that specific state. And you don't know the state, so you just immerse yourself into the reading. Then you take into contemplative meditation. You sit there, meditate, having read a little bit, maybe a page or two, and you sit there going over what you felt when you were reading. What is the state of vibration of what do I feel as a state of vibration from reading this text? Then you can go into it without discriminating on it. Because when you discriminate on it, you attract other complex emotions. Meaning you attract this type of emotion, that type of emotion, and once it starts getting into your mind and riling things up, it becomes a complex system of emotions. So you'll never get the real deal.
It kind of reminded me of something I'd read quite a while ago called what Swedenborg Heard in Hell. I don't know if you're familiar with Emanuel Swedenborg, but he was he's a Christian mystic, and he's actually supposedly one of the highest IQ individuals that was ever on the face of the earth. Wow. I think his intelligence level was estimated to be quite a bit higher even than Einstein. Wow. And he had experienced quite a few mystical visions and whatnot. And in some of these, he apparently visited the hell realms. And he describes what he saw in the hells and what he saw in the heavens. And it's very similar to what I read in the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. But anyway, one of the hell realms he visits was the hell realm of greedy people. And there's this huge table with all these people around it, and there's just a speck of gold dust on the table. And they're all kind of coveting it. And one of the guys, he talks to one of the souls, and he says, like, it's through our own delusion we magnify that this is all the wealth in the world, and we all believe that we own this wealth all ourselves. Anyway, it's kind of interesting, like the delusion, the delusion aspect.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, really. But it's not very basic. I mean, it's very difficult to comprehend to a degree. It is a mix of our false thinking, thus its deluded state. So go back to the earlier points we made. People walking on the streets experience the hell realms all the time because of their own deluded thinking. Think of the term in yin and yang. Once excuse me, my problem changing over Chinese to English. It happens all the time. Once the yang energy reaches its high point, it goes right to yin. So think of how happy we are when we're excited. We reach, or the times when we reach high experience of happiness. What happens when you're laughing so hard and you're totally in this great ecstatic state of happiness? Your eyes start tearing, you probably can't catch your breath, your back hurts, your diaphragm hurts, you're coughing, and you're like, oh, this is so funny, ah. And then you finally come down from the high, and everything kind of seems to kind of like slow down, kind of become steady. That was a high point of happiness vibration, ecstaticness, excitement and whatnot. And then its low point was you reached the calm state of this total effervescent feeling and the relaxation. Okay? It's just like that. Our deluded thinking does that. Happy deluded thinking and unhappy deluded thinking. I call it deluded thinking because it's just as though I put on a hat and with goggles on it, and the goggles are green, and I see everything green, and the hat somehow is glued to my head, and I woke up from being a little baby child. I was born. Someone put this hat on my head, and when I opened my eyes, the world was green. No, I don't know that the hat was not attached to my head beforehand. All I know is that this thing is part of my head, so I assume it's my skin or my hair or my hat or whatever the case is that I was just born with. No one tells me it's a hat I'm wearing. They never tell me that. They just say, "Oh, treat me like the way everything else is, normal," but I see the world green. But they don't. They see the world in total color, or different colors and whatever. So to me, the world green is the reality, and I'll believe that until the end of time or until someone breaks my glasses.
Okay, the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra, that's Buddhist. Do you have any knowledge of the Taoist conception of hells, or is it basically the same thing?
Well, many will say it's not the same. It's just hells with different explanations. I mean, I'm eating chicken, you're eating chicken, mine tastes a little lemony, yours tastes a little orange, but it's still chicken. Okay. It's just, saying, oh, there's 18 hells here, and then, well, the Buddhists have too many hells, so, ours only has 18. And it's like, well, the Christian religion only has one hell. You check in, you never check out.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, okay, that's kind of easier. Well, no, in terms of the Taoist texts and what they speak on the hells, I never studied it that way. I never studied it. I never received text on it. But in my travails through meditation, don't take my word for it. This is only my experience. Who knows? Maybe I was just seeing a memory of a cartoon I saw when I was a kid. But through my travails in meditation, through different realms or whatnot, I mean, it's the same thing. There's no difference. There's different experiences happening there. And maybe you can say that in China, the collective response to specific vibrations of energy, okay, potted everything together or put everything together in only a few places. Because everyone only did specific things back then. It wasn't as complex today. So you didn't experience maybe the multiple complexities of the hell realm vibrations. You only experienced the smaller vibrational complexities in the hell realms. So you only had a certain amounts of levels of hell realms one can go to due to the response people get from the things they've done. So if everyone's only crimes are excessive drinking and then raping people, or killing people, and then, or, having a wife and then wanting to take like 5 more and then just like not happy with the 4th one, so just kills that one, or don't like the child, whether it's a boy or girl, and just throws it in the river, fights their way to the top of a government officialdom, or is an emperor and then just wipes out a whole entire country's other types of kingdoms, whatnot, or even political figure who just decides to do what the hell they want to do. If those are the only things that are being done, then those are the only realms people will go to. So then it's just stated that this is what it's going to be for you, because that's really all that's you're going to do. I mean, the mind is strict on keep proper posture, speak well. If you have a problem with people, you say it in a respectful manner. You don't want to, offend anybody. But if they did something wrong and you tell them straight up, maybe they'll get offended. So you have to be diplomatic about it, so as not to let them create more false thinking and let them reflect on themselves and change their views and stuff. So you're kind of keeping a very strict order of how to apply emotion, one's own views, and speech. Not much problem going to happen from that, right? Unless the only ills that one does is out of greed, hatred, greed, anger, ignorance. Then you're just only going to, if the whole country is only doing 5 wrong things, and you have different ways of doing the 5 wrong things, then you're only going to go to a specific amount you're only going to create a certain type of vibrational level, and that realm created from there is going to be based on one of the 5 things you've done. So maybe there's only 5 hell realms based on the specific people's complex mind. It is
Yeah,
based on the mind, but it becomes
just
very complex. Go ahead.
I was just going to say they probably in terms of how they divided it up, it was probably more for simplicity's sake than anything, right? Rather
Hmm.
than trying to list off every single possible realm. If you say these are the
It's
big
yeah.
major ones, right?
The ones that most people go to. It's like, okay, if I talk about China to somebody, they'll know Beijing, they'll know Shanghai, they'll probably know Shenzhen, Hong Kong. But if I tell them about a small city in Hubei province, what the hell is that place? I never been there. Does that even exist? Or you tell them about the beautiful lands in the western region of China, and they'll go, huh? you know, they won't know, but they'll know the more popular ones. So basically, it's the ones that people have vibrated and resonated to mostly. Those are the ones being spoken about straight up. So
So
when you talk of Buddhism having all these realms and the complex realms and the hell realms or whatnot, well, you got to think India was around for a while and had a lot of different types of gurus, good and bad, and a lot of different types of practices that brought one either spiritual powers, wisdom, or different abilities, or different types of lifestyles as well. So it was much more complex. So though the Buddha was speaking, or Ursha Bodhisattva was speaking in a mannerism that reflected the ways of people of that region, he wasn't speaking for India because they speak of a Jambudvipa. Okay, and we got to think, what is that? Now, there's a lot of information about it, and I wrote it all down during my time off in the countryside this beginning of this year because I know I'm not going to remember it all, so I wrote it all down, and all I can say out of a memory is strictly that Jambudvipa is the explanation of our universe at an upside-down triangle. And don't think of all the upside-downness being a negative thing. It's just the way it's situated. It has nothing to do with what we assume upside-down triangles would be. No pentagrams or whatever. It doesn't mean anything in what we assume esoterically. That's just the way things are situated. It's Jambudvipa. It's the southernmost island surrounding Mount Sumeru. They are the desire realms, formless realms, form realm. It is shaped like a triangle facing south. In its center is a gigantic Jambu tree from which the continent takes its name. It is a region where humans live and is the only place where a being may become enlightened by being born as a human being. Here, one may receive the Dharma, understand the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and realize liberation from birth and death. That's about all I had put down on there. But I don't want to go into a whole big thing. One can research it and get an idea. But they're not just talking of Earth. We only call ourselves human beings, but hey, someone on 5 other planets away and, in a half of a million light years away would probably call themselves or see themselves as we see ourselves. So we don't know. We don't know their state either. So we just can't assume we're the only ones. But anywho, when he's talking as a collective for the people in our realm as well. When I say realm, I mean this world. And we can chop up realm into countries too. Each country has its own vibrational level. When you go into a specific country, you can automatically, if you're sensitive enough or your discriminating mind isn't so, all over the place, you can actually feel a different type of vibration in another country. And you can almost contemplate that vibration to understand the capacity of the minds of the people in that land.
Interesting.
Yeah. Each place is like that. Each country on our planet is like that. Each planet in our solar system is like that. And every other universe is like the same way.
I kind of wanted to bring it around to a more hopeful aspect because in this sutra it talks about how the bodhisattva did certain actions to help those that are suffering, such as incense and I don't want to say sacrifices, but offerings to the Buddhas and whatnot. Would you be able to just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, which was really, really good to do. I mean, I know we're really holding on to what people will consider us talking only about the Buddhist aspect of it, but like I said before, my state of understanding is very different from everyone else's state of understanding the Buddhist teachings. I may be stupid at it, and others may be better or more smart at it, wiser at it than I am. But what I see it as is not religious. So I'm not talking of a dogmatic teaching. I'm talking of what I experienced in the states I've had in seeing certain realms. So I will say, yes, this is how things are. But that's just what you can use as a reference point, not as a end-all be-all. This is how it is because he said it. Please don't do that. Okay? Never do that for anybody. I don't care if they Jesus Christ came down, like my father said. If Jesus Christ came down and said this, I still wouldn't believe the motherfucker. That's what my father says. Still wouldn't believe him. I got to find out for myself because I have to know and I have to be able to put down my own thinking first before I can accept any truth. That's how my father used to teach me. So I would do the same thing for everyone else. Use it as a reference and contemplate it all on your own. Anywho, okay, back to the question at hand. There's still Bodhisattva. Oh, what, you said I forgot?
Basically, that Earth Store Bodhisattva would make certain offerings or whatnot to accumulate merit for the souls that are suffering.
Right. And you said something about sacrificing before too, and I want to bring that up also because that's very important. The sacrificing that we see in Buddhism, people burning themselves on fire, or burning themselves. You can only do it with fire unless you have liquid nitrogen, or is it called? And then you can burn yourself with ice. But anyway, burnings, chopping off arms, chopping off pieces of skin, and all that for the sake of people. There's a whole reasoning for that. Or not reasoning, there's a whole method involved. There's a proper way of doing it. It's not just douse yourself with the oil or gasoline and put yourself on fire and happy joy, you burn yourself and you sacrifice. No, it's not that at all. It's a state of the mind you have to be in order to actually pull that off and make it mean something. You can't just say, I don't like this, I'm going to free these people, I'm going to burn myself on fire and protest, and you burn yourself. And you set yourself on fire, sorry. And you did something useful. No, you just kind of wasted it. Okay, so when the Bodhisattva is talking about offerings to influence a person's merit virtue so they don't end up in these hell realms or can lessen their quote-unquote time period in these hell realms, it's basically not just, okay, I'm going to help an old lady cross the street, and then I'm going to go and say, I transfer all merited virtue to all living beings of the 10 directions who are in the hell realms, let them lessen their time period there, and or do not enter these realms whatsoever. It's not just that. I mean, that's pretty nice to do anyway. But it's more of really taking that deep, heartfelt compassion and sympathy and putting yourself in the people's places, and almost as though you are contemplatively investigating their state of suffering or the state of what this person is being as, and understanding what will happen because of their actions and their vibrational, their mental vibration, their vibration that they're putting off. Then you make offering based on that. And the offering is, I don't have any money, so how can I offer anything? You do it with your mind. You're sending that person compassion. You're extending your energy, extending your field, extending that great unconditional compassion and love to these beings. And as it accumulates over time, it raises their vibration. When it raises enough to alter their state, then they can jump off whatever suffering they are in, and maybe for that moment that they jumped off, they seen the face of the person who's making the offering, or they seen a bodhisattva's face, or they were able to hear a teaching somehow, and they may wake up at that point, or they may be able to contemplate at that point for that split second, or even half of a split second, and it can alter the time frame in the realms that they're experiencing. That's what the offerings are meaning.
That's probably as good a place as any to end the topic for now. Did you have any other Did you have any final thoughts before we?
Wow, we've gone for a while, huh?
We tap dance right through the hells.
Oh my goodness! No one. I feel very hot right now. I'm sweating. Yeah, actually, when people who are listening to your show, please don't just think, oh, we just coined up the Buddhist aspect. We didn't go deep into anything else. I'm not a scholar of any other religion. I'm not even a scholar of Buddhism, and I don't see anything else as religious. But remember, from what I've experienced utilizing the Buddhist teachings, because it's in my world that I live in. It's there all the time. What I've experienced obviously is different from everyone else experiences. So please don't just take my word for it. I'm just throwing reference points. That's why the show's only 45 minutes, an hour. But take the idea that we talked about today and just contemplate it at a basic level. Good begets good, bad begets bad. If you want to take into the complexity of, well, good people doing good things end up getting bad things happening to them. That goes into a complexity. It goes into very trivial aspect of what they've done beforehand. I mean, just because you see someone doing a good deed and going, that person's so nice, who knows the day before they could have been killing loads of mosquitoes. They could have been hunting and just shot a deer in the head, and then they help an old lady cross the street. You don't know. I'm just being a little extreme to a degree, but you don't know. So let's not go into the in-depth complexities and trivialities of things. Let's just keep it very simple, allowing us to accept a very ordinary, straight-up understanding of the opposite of the feeling good states. It's really that simple. And let's put it on the realm that we can comprehend right now. We can only comprehend what's in front of us, what's around us. So use the I feel good today, use the I feel bad today state. Very easy. And it's simple. If you're feeling emotionally terrible, don't go to the bigger picture and go, wow, that's just like the hell realms. No. But just understand that it is likened on a low level of suffering. When you're feeling happy, that's the same thing, likened to the level of happiness. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Keep it very, very simple. And then you'll understand how things work in the relative realm with the yin and yang when it comes to our emotional experiences. Okay? Then you'll understand that we're taking the yin and yang aspect, and then we've been talking about Buddhism and how the hell they're going together, because it's all the same thing. It's just using different languages. Well, hope you guys all enjoyed it. If any questions about this at all, you can reach me at guizhenhui@yeah.net and just make a request on more information about this stuff, and we can go in on email correspondence. That would be pretty cool. I just take this very seriously, so this aspect is very important to me. And if anyone's interested in understanding more, please feel free to contact me.
I'll summarize it as keep it simple or go to hell.
Very good.
All right. Well, thanks again, Len.
Thank you.
And I'll just close out here.
Okay.
So I wanted to thank everybody for listening to Expedient Means with Lin Wei on Time Monk Radio. Please be sure to join us next week as we discuss cultivation in the martial arts. And to quote the final chapter of the Tao Te Ching, the sage does not accumulate. The more he assists others, the more he possesses. The more he gives to others, the more he gains.